Hey, everybody, welcome to the book launch party of my new book, Church Financial Excellence, getting launched today, out there and available today. Please jump into the comments and tell us where you're from. Now, I've got my YouTube channel coming through with lots of sound, so I'm just going to kill that sound so I don't have to listen to myself. Jump on and say hi. Great to see. Thank you, Philip Tong, for joining me today. Appreciate that. And also Seth Brooks, hey, in Portland, Oregon. Great to see you as well, my good friend in Portland, Oregon. Seth, great to have you here, mate. Woohoo, absolutely. Steve Morrison from the wonderful state of Victoria. It is party time. Thanks, Philip, also from Victoria. Join us. Tell us where you're joining us from if you would like. If you want to just remain anonymous in the background, feel free to do that as well. Who else we got here? We've got James Blair. Thanks, James, from the Gold Coast. Let's go, James, from the Gold Coast. Thanks for joining us. My good mate, Rob Spicier. Look at good John. And great to have you here, Rob, as well. And Seth jumping in there. Barry Farmelo from Auckland. So good. Brian Webber from Devonport. I'm going to have Blake Moore on here. Going to do a little interview with Blake during the procedures as well. People are saying hi to each other. Feel free to jump in the comments and say anything you like as we go along. But Seth, so good to have you here. I wonder what time it is in Portland, Oregon right now. I reckon it's about 9 o'clock in the morning. No, in the night. 9 o'clock, I reckon, Wednesday night be my guess. What do you reckon, Seth? How close am I? But good to see so many friends jumping on as well. And Barry Farmelo over there in Auckland, it's about 6 o'clock in the evening over there in Auckland. So let's jump in. I'm going to share with you 4 secret church financial excellence formulas, all based on the book as well. I've got a couple of freebie downloads, so hang around to the end. I've got a couple of freebies that you can just be able to download. Won't cost you anything, or you can just you basically click the link and then you'll be able to download straight away. Yes, Seth Brooks is here. That's a deal. We've got an American in the house. All those Europeans, UK people are sleeping. So let's jump in, shall we? Let's go right into the teaching here, and let's see if I can make all this tech work. There's the book. There it is. And I'll share the link so you can go and buy that at the end there. Now, secret number 1, balancing passion with prudence. And these ones are all in the book, all these secrets. But balancing passion with prudence comes from my chat with Pastor Phil Pringle in an airport, where Phil said to me, John, use faith for income and wisdom for expenditure and not the other way around. So sometimes out of passion, we think we're moving in faith, but we're moving in presumption, where we go, hey, I need a new sound system, whack it on the credit card. By the time the credit card's due in 55 days, the Lord will have provided. No, that's not faith, that's presumption. And Phil was really, it's a great little proverb. Use faith for income, believe God. So if you want to buy a new sound system, basically believe the Lord to provide the funds, let the funds flow in. And then when you've got the money, spend it wisely. Go out and get the best deal you can, rather than the other way around of, I'm just going to spend, put it on the card and believe God to provide for me. It's important to have passion in ministry, but it's important to have prudence. And that proverb from Pastor Phil Pringle has stood me in good stead over the decades of ministry, and it's one that I write extensively about in the book. Why don't you just give this thought to actually rate your church's financial health? Now, you don't have to put your answer into the comments. Don't feel like you need to. If you're thinking, oh man, I don't want to expose myself to the world here. But when you look at your church's financial health, in terms of you feel like your church is generous, you feel like your church is wise in its spending. And I'm not saying that it's not challenging at times. I mean, church finances are generally, they do have a degree of challenges in them. But you've got some cash reserves. If you hit an emergency, you've got a bit of a buffer zone there. You feel like your own finances as a church leader are in a good place. And again, I'm not saying, hey, we're all millionaires and we've got heaps of money in the bank and we're just, driving the latest Tesla or anything like that. It's more about, do you feel overall that your church is financial health is a 10, which is it's just rocking in so many ways. We're wise, we're believing, we're stretching, we've built cash reserves, we're doing well with paying off our building if we've got one. Or 1, man, we are struggle street every single week. We feel like it's hand to mouth and we're just gasping for breath. We feel like we're almost drowning. That's 1 and 10. So give that some thought, because one of the secrets, I think, and this would be secret number 5, it's not one of my 4 I'm sharing today, but I reckon one of the secrets around church financial health and excellence is actually facing the brutal reality of where you're at, of looking where you're at. And I've had various times in my personal financial world where I've gone, I really don't want to open the bank accounts. I don't want to look on the app because I know it's not going to be encouraging. And I think it's just gathering the courage to go, you know what, I'm going to look at this. And I remember our early years of Grow a Healthy Church, we were kind of struggling for a good 6 to 7 years. It was a year-by-year proposition of whether we survive. And I remember opening up sometimes the bank app and going, okay, we're okay. We're good for another month. I told Di, I've done the money for a month. We're good to go. Not a great way to live, but that's what you do when you're establishing something, and these days it's very different, thankfully. Anyway, good to think about where you're at with your financial health. Secret number 2, build culture before programs. When I became the senior pastor of our church, I really wanted to swing our culture from being inward, great worship, great presence of God, great preaching, into being an outward, reaching people, planting churches, doing lots of things to reach people with the gospel. And basically that took a 5-year journey of changing our culture. And culture is built by words, actions, behaviors, attitudes, rituals, systems, pathways, whole bundle of things going into building culture. And when you're starting to swing your culture around, and I do write about this in the book about how to swing your culture around financially, you're really going to go on a journey that's a 5-year journey. Hate to make you feel a bit depressed about that, but I was, in our church, I became senior pastor when our church was 16 years old, and we'd never had a money series in our church. And so I had to change that culture by preaching about money. And I'll tell you what, it was not easy to do, but over the years, we changed the culture, and here we are now. It's what I led for 20 years. I've been 14 years since I had church over, so 30 odd years now. Our culture in our church is very relaxed around money. It's very open, it's very honest, but transparent, but it's also relaxed. There's not a pressure around finances as we've just changed that culture. Hey, I'm going to bring on my good friend, Pastor Blake Moore, who's just sitting there waiting for us to chat. And I'm going to bring Blake on, and let me just see if I can kind of get us looking a bit better here. Oh, that's just me. We don't want just me up there. No, hang on. Just bear with me, Blake, while I get us both on the screen. Let's try that. Oh, no, is that it? No, that's not it. Oh, yeah, we're on. We're good. I'm looking at a little teleprompter here, so it's a bit hard to see exactly what's going on. Hey, Blake, welcome. Great to have you on the launch today.
Thank you, John. It's great to be here.
Hey, Blake, now we've known each other. I think we first met in Burnie. Brian Webber introduced us at a lovely coffee place, a cafe in Burnie. We had a coffee together, and probably about, 7, 8 years ago, started working with your church. And one of the things that really impressed me initially about working in your church is that one of the areas you didn't need any help from me at all was in your secondary giving programs, because you were doing amazing things with raising money for your building program. In fact, you hit 100% one year, where when I say 100%, I mean if your tithes are 100 grand a year, a secondary giving program produces another 100 grand. It's very rare, but you hit that one year, Blake. So I thought I'd bring you on today and share a couple of thoughts and ideas around this. What do you reckon is the biggest challenge about launching a secondary giving program, whether it's for buildings or it's for missions? What do you reckon is one of the biggest challenges around it?
Well, my answer is probably not what people would expect. The leader can be the blockage.
Wow.
in terms of in talking to people in our movement of Churches of Christ in VicTaz. Sometimes the blockage is the leader themselves.
Hmm.
Like you said, they've never preached a series on money or stewardship, and the idea of secondary giving, the concept of secondary giving, is new to them. And sometimes they might feel they don't want to upset people, they don't want to be embarrassed. You don't talk about money, but the problem is their own fear,
Right.
and they have to get over that. They have to deal with that. In fact, Jesus talks more about money than anything, and so it's a discipleship issue, it's a formation issue, and teaching generosity to your congregation is a very good thing.
That's awesome. What was one thing you did to beat your own fear down? Because I think every church leader listening to us today would acknowledge that when it comes to addressing money and discipling people around money, it is, you do feel scared. You do feel afraid. You know you're going to be treading on some toes. You know you're going to be touching people's hearts. What's one of the things that you did to kind of, okay, corral that fear, deal with it, and decide to overcome it, I guess, because it doesn't just disappear overnight just because you don't want it there. What's one thing you did to kind of beat that fear out of your heart?
Well, I think firstly, it probably becomes easier for people who are exhorters to teach on money. That would be my first, one comment. But to be honest, I just dip your toe in the water. So I've been here about 12 years at Devonport Church of Christ.
Hmm.
And probably in 2016, we started just a little project to revamp the foyer. And we raised about $16,000.
Wow.
And did a little project and changed the carpet and just spruced it up so it looked a little bit more inviting because it's pretty ugly. Yeah, and that was 2016. So I would say just have a go, dip your toe in the water. If you don't ask, you'll get $0. But if you ask, you'll get something.
I think that's a really good advice of actually just give it a go. Start somewhere and move into it.
Start small, yeah. And then from 2016, we moved into our Daring Faith campaign because our building here just sort of sent a terrible message to the community in terms of just run down. Buildings aren't everything, but they do send a message to the community.
Yeah, they do.
And so we started a Daring Faith campaign in 2018. So we wanted to raise $1 million over 3 years.
Wow, that's a bit more than $16,000 for a foyer.
It was. And I'm happy to say that we raised, probably 3.5 years later, we raised over $850,000.
Wow.
So we never got the million, but I got 850K, John.
Wow.
And then we borrowed the rest. The whole project was 1.75 million.
Yep.
And then it's just become part of our culture. The church is not surprised when we do secondary giving now. And it was our centenary last year. So we
sorry, go on. From my memory, your regular Sunday giving was in the 300 to 400,000 zone. Is that? Am I correct in remembering that?
Yeah. Now it's up. We for the last financial year with our unfinished giving campaign that we raised 186,000 in our centenary year.
Wow.
We actually pushed over the $1 million mark for the last financial year.
Wow. So I think it's good for pastors to understand that you can get, I think, 20 to 30% again of your regular giving through a secondary giving program. But also sometimes you can blow it out of the water like Blake has done, raising 850,000 in a few years. That's really exceptional. That's at a high level, which has really indicated a change of culture. Tell the folks just before we wrap up with you that just the Destiny Rescue, the offering that you did for the Destiny Rescue out of your centenary celebrations, and you were telling me the other day how many people. What was the end result of that? Give us a bit of a snippet of that.
Yeah, so we raised money in our centenary year last year. We just wanted to just not be about us. We wanted to do something for others. So we raised some money to upgrade our soundproofing for our foyer. We wanted to donate some money to Destiny Rescue, who we have a partnership with. And also we wanted to bless a small Tasmanian church as well. And so we gave $50,000 last December to Destiny Rescue. And I received about a month ago the results of that 623 people were rescued in Thailand through 8 raids.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that is just huge.
Shared that with the congregation on last Sunday. And yeah, I mean, it's just incredible to get your head around. I mean, that's literally thousands of people have been impacted when you consider the families and the connections of that, because 594 of those 623 people were reunited with their family of origin.
Wow. And this is the power of secondary giving programs. Hey, Blake, thanks so much for joining us today. I'll leave you in the studio. You can flick your camera off if you want as well.
Thanks
so much for joining us today. It's been phenomenal. And let me see if I can get myself back on track here. Yes, I am. Cool. Okay, well, we're actually talking about secret number 3. And we've kind of covered that to a great degree, is secondary giving programs. And if you've never run a secondary giving program, let me tell you that in the book, I go into this extensively and talk about how to run a secondary giving program in your book, which I think is a cool idea, because I think it's a great way to raise extra money. All right, secret number 4. Here we go. Oh man, my tech is playing up again. I'll just throw this over here. There we go. I'm making it up as I go along. Learning how to lead through challenges. Now this will be no surprise to any pastor here that you're going to have challenges whenever you decide to lead a church. And when you start to lead a church into areas of finances, you're going to have some opposition, spiritual opposition, but you're also going to have times where you're going to have to do what we did every now and again in our church. I would tell our team and our board, the income is not what we expected it to be. We had a faith gap. It's not getting filled. Everyone tighten their belts. No spending any money that absolutely doesn't need to be spent. There'd be challenges. I remember back in the 80s when our church was going through, like all of Australia, through a terrible recession. We had to lay off a couple of staff. And I remember sitting with our founding pastor then as he had conversations with 2 or 3 staff and had to put off staff. And so challenging, so difficult. And one of the things that I think you need to have, and it's a real secret, I think, of church financial excellence, is the resilience to lead through challenging seasons, because you will have them. But to have the ability to seek the Lord, to pray, to go to the Lord, to stand in faith, to gather with your board and your team and your key staff and your key leaders and say, hey, we're going to challenge here and we're going to stand in faith. We're going to believe God. And I remember when my good friend, Dr. Wes Beaver, said to me when we were about to launch into our building program to build our church, which is now in Hepburn Heights, he said, leave room for God to do a miracle. And I love that thought. Now, when you're living in the middle of that gap where there is no miracle, I don't love it then, but to lead through the challenge of a gap where you say, Lord, we need miraculous provision. We need manna out of the sky. We need water out of a rock. Bring it, Lord. And I think it's one of the keys, actually, of leading with resilience. The tech issues today. Okay, I've got some free resources for you. Who likes freebies? Jump in the comments and tell me if you do like a freebie. And yeah, I love technology. Me too, Seth. I'm having some fun today with this, as I normally do when I ever get on here. The first freebie I'm just going to drop in here is, and these are just downloads. They're PDF downloads that you can grab a hold of. You just click that link. You don't need to put your email address or anything. You just click that, and you should be able to do a download. And it's basically an excellence, church financial excellence assessment tool. Now, don't jump into it. We'll finish the webinar first. But if you want to just dive off and do that, feel free. That's the first one. The second one is a stewardship culture audit. And I thought it'd be an interesting little help here as well to give you another. And again, these are just downloads. You can just download them and do them. And I would suggest you actually do them with your team to actually do a bit of an audit of your levels of financial excellence and doing an audit of your stewardship levels and so on. So they're just a thank you from me for turning up today. If you're watching on YouTube, those links are in the description below, so you can access them. And if you forget to click these links and you need to find them, just let me know. I'll send them through to you. Or jump onto YouTube, find the video there where this is going to stream live at the moment, and you can click the links there and grab them as well. But of course, the big thing we're here today for, of course, is the book. And really excited about this book getting launched, actually. So I'm going to put a link in the comments now where you can jump over to Amazon. You can buy the paperback, and you can buy, there's the paperback right there. You can buy the paperback, and you can also you can jump in and buy the Kindle version. If you prefer the ebook, you can jump in and buy the Kindle version. Now, in 3 weeks' time, the audiobook will be available. So I've got an audiobook. My first book is out as well. That's already out back in April. Print, Kindle, or audio for that one. If you haven't grabbed Financial Intelligence, grab a hold of that as well. But there's print and Kindle available today. And then in 3 weeks' time, we'll have the audiobook out, which I've narrated that book as well. So feel free to grab that book. And I think if you want to be super, super kind to me, please leave a review. If you leave a review for me, if you've read Financial Intelligence and you liked it, please jump onto that and leave a review. Just search John Finkeldy on Amazon. You'll find that book and leave me a review. It does help with other people wanting to think, should I buy the book or not, if they see good reviews on there. So I've put 5 stars on my little slide here to encourage you to leave 5-star review. Be kind to me if you can. But if you leave a review, I really would appreciate that. But jump in and grab the book, grab a few copies for your board, for your team. It's a longer book than your Financial Intelligence one, about 140 pages, super practical, full of great ideas about generally developing a culture of financial excellence, but also about secondary giving programs, about getting through various budgetary challenges, also how to develop a vision-centered budget. I should read out the contents page, shouldn't I? And I think I've covered most of it, talking about it today. And what else we got? Building a culture. So it's a lot about culture of godly stewardship, culture of generosity, mastering secondary giving programs. I go into extensive detail, leading through financial challenges. So the secrets we've shared today are the formulas that I'll share with you. Now, if anyone's got any questions, I'm really happy to dive in and kind of do the questions. I'll just put some comments up here. Brian says, walk through that process income to seeing God was providing through significant savings for Pro Church, saved over $50,000. I love the fact that churches have got savings. Hey, great interview, Blake. Blake, you're getting some nice feedback, which is great. David Ross from New Zealand. Hi, David. Great to have you here as well. So if you've got any questions around finances, anything else that you kind of would like to chat about today, feel free. Thanks, Steve Marr, for joining us. And yes, please, Diane. I guess Diane's asking for those freebies. Yes, you like the freebies. If you've downloaded the freebies, if you're having trouble downloading the freebies, jump into the comments, or if you've been able to download them, jump in and tell me so then I can relax about my technology. And if you're like Diane and you like freebies, feel free to jump on there and say Yep, good to go. Got them as well. No one's saying anything, so I'm just going to assume that people have got them. Or maybe people have actually downloaded them and run off and started to do them. Downloaded, great. Thank you. Easy to download. That's great. That's cool. Yeah, you can just click the link and it's there. And look, feel free to, that PDF, feel free to share that with anyone you like. There's no kind of anything attachment to that you need to worry about. Feel free just to throw it all around the place. And there's also a link to the book in there as well. Easy to download. Thank you, Diane. Thanks, Steve. Chris Brown. Hey, Chris, thanks for joining us. Have you found it better to combine different secondary offering projects or just focus on one at a time? The concept that I talk about in consulting with churches and that I write about in the book is that I call it one bucket with many funnels out. One bucket in, one big bucket that everyone gives into, and many funnels. And one funnel could be for a chaplain in a school, a motorbike for a missionary in Indonesia, a lease on a building, renovation on a building, buying a sound system, putting extra effort into promoting Easter and Christmas events, using ads on social media, whatever you want coming out of the bucket. So many funnels out, one funnel in, one opening. So what you do is you present all the options, I think, in one big hit over about a 3-Sunday period. I write about that extensively in the book. And just basically you have a big push at it and you're going, here's our local missions, here's our global missions, here's our building needs, here's our equipment needs, here's our outreach. And I think that's a better process. I know some churches do two, one for buildings, one for missions. I think that can work if you've got that in you to do that. But I do prefer one big bucket, many projects. The key thing is to know ahead of time where you're going to direct the money. And you don't have to be, kind of like, hey, we want to raise 50,000, 10,000 local missions, 20,000 global missions, and 20,000 the building. You don't have to spell that out exactly. You can just tell people this is where the money will go. You can give them a rough idea of percentages, but as soon as you say you're going to put a certain amount to somewhere, you have to do it. And if you only raise 10 grand instead of 50, then you're in a real bind if you said you're going to put 10 grand into local missions. Okay, I've got nothing else for any of the other areas. So be very careful what you put out publicly in writing and in word. Be very specific, be pedantic about that, and then do exactly what you said, and you build credibility and trust. So I'm a real fan, Chris, of one big bucket, many outlets, one inlet, many outlets. Yep, building fund and missions. Absolutely, I think. And you can add special projects into that. They're one-off. You might want to, rebuild part of your children's area or something like that. You can make it very specific like that, but I think that does it. Hey, Amazon, just ordered the book. Great. Thank you, Seth. Appreciate that. Share with all your friends in the States. Thanks, Diane, for jumping in as well. And Chris, thanks. Brilliant. You did say motorbike for the pastor. Correct. Yeah, a new Harley Davidson for the pastor to ride around town and do his pastoral visits on. Yeah, I think I'd give that a go, Chris, and let us know how you go with that fundraising. I'm not sure if it'll be a huge success for you, but I know you love your motorbikes. You're a good man. You're a good man. Any other questions, thoughts, feedback? Again, feel free to just jump in and kind of promote the whole deal of the book. This is the launch day today, the launch party, and I'll be promoting it over the next couple of weeks as well. I want to get that book. And you know what? I haven't done a slide on this, but I've got another book coming out in early 2026, Sunday Church Growth Strategies. But no doubt you'll hear about that from me. But I've pretty well written that book. It's almost ready to go to my editor, but I'm pumping out 2 books this year, next year 3 books coming out, similar sort of style of book, very practical, short to the point, full of things that you can implement and do. Here we go. What's Seth Brooks' fundraiser? Send the pastor on how to get in touch with his feelings. Seth, feel free. Launch that fundraiser, but let us know how it goes. I'd really be interested in how it goes. You guys have got you got some good ideas for fundraising. I'm just not sure if you're really going to get them off the ground in your church. Hey, thanks so much for joining me today. Unless there's more questions, I'm going to wrap it up. But really do appreciate the fact that you've jumped in with me today and helped me launch the book. I've got my little launch thing here that I haven't really shown off yet. I've also got my beverage of choice, a coffee. If you've got a little beverage of choice there, feel free to have a toast to the launch of the book. I like doing these book launches. It's kind of hanging out with friends, basically, as well. Chris, thank you so much for buying the book. I really do appreciate it. And thanks, Steve Ma, a good friend of mine, for joining me today as well. Thanks, Seth. Appreciate that. And Steve Morrison, here's a good one. What are the dumbest things you have seen? I guess around raising money. That's a really good question. That's a great question. You know the dumbest thing, Steve? Churches not doing a secondary giving program. That's probably the dumbest thing that I've seen, not doing one. Because of fear, because of history, because of culture, tradition, whatever. I think to not do a secondary giving program, it's just we've done it now in our church, I think almost, I would say, every year for about 30 years. And it's now just second nature to our church. It's in the culture, it's in the air. The dumbest thing pastors can do is not do a secondary giving program. Even if you're only dipping your toe in the water and raising $16,000 for a foyer renovation. I mean, that would have been a small amount for that church, but it got them rolling. So there, that's my dumbest thing as there too. Thanks, Seth. Appreciate that. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate that. My tea is in a giant cup. Well done, Diane. I like that. Good answer. Thanks, Steve. Appreciate your encouragement as well. Another sip of coffee. I'm enjoying the fact that I've got another book out there in the wild, and appreciate all your support with all this. Have a brilliant rest of your day. Have a brilliant Wednesday night. Seth over in Portland, Oregon. Have a great sleep tonight. We've prepared Thursday for you. It's looking fabulous. We've polished it up. We'll send it your way. You can enjoy that tomorrow. Thanks everybody else for being with us today. Have a great afternoon, evening, wherever you are around the globe. God bless you.